Hey everyone. So if you were just here, I tried doing a live and did not remember that we had dinner in the oven. So we're going to try this again. I hope y'all are doing well, having a great evening. We have to laugh at ourselves and just be able to have fun. And I'm going to make sure is working. Okay. Hi. Let's try this again. So I've been doing some videos about just kind of what to expect in the college application process. And we'll continue having those videos. And yesterday I talked about kind of what students can focus on over the summer. But I want to talk a little bit about the different parts of the application and what students can expect. So the first thing is that there are several different parts of the application. So there's the part that's student driven, and then there is the part that is going to be driven by the someone else. So there are going to be several different platforms for students to be able to use. Their students can apply for some schools. They might have one platform. For some of them, they're going to have multiple, and students get to choose. Some of them are you can apply directly to the college. So they're going to have their own login, their own website, their own information that students need to take a look at and submit through that particular portal. There also is the Common Application, which is a kind of a one-stop shop where students can log in, they can complete different tasks, and then they also are going to be able to send that application to multiple places. Now, they're still going to have things that they are completing for all of the schools, but it's going to streamline that process some. And then there is the Common Application, there's the Coalition Application, the HBCU Common Application. So there are several different things that students can get, ways that students can access those application platforms. Now, what students have control over, and this is going to be the student entered information on that application. So that's going to be things like your demographics, so the student's name, their age, their birth date, what high school they attended, if there is a self-reported test score portion, if there's a self-reported classes portion, if students are talking about activities that they've been involved with, extracurricular activities, personal statements, any additional information. And that additional information might be something to the effect of, hey, you know what? My freshman year was not the best representation of what I am capable of. And here's what happened and here's why. And then you'll see that over time, my grades and different pieces, they improved and it increased and I did much better. But that's a little bit about why, or just other information that you want the college to know that doesn't necessarily fit into the personal statement or into the supplemental essays, into the extracurricular activities. So some of those pieces. So those are the student portions. There also is an application fee that most schools are going to have. If you qualify for free or reduced lunch, you may be able to also get a fee waiver, and that's for applications as well as for the ACT and SAT. Then some colleges might have, if you go on a visit, whether it be face-to-face or virtual, that they are going to give you an opportunity to look at to having a fee waiver or a discounted application fee. Some colleges might have, if you're applying later on in the school year, in South Carolina, there is a college application month. And so students who sign up to attend that college application month, they're actually able to get a list of fee waivers for some colleges, depending on what's going on, and checking email. So it is super, super important that students check their email to make sure that they're not missing any information from those colleges. And one of the things that can definitely happen is that those schools can send an email with a discount code or a fee waiver for a certain point in time. If students aren't checking their emails, they're not going to get that. And then you as parents could end up that you are spending money on something that maybe you don't necessarily want to have to spend money on. So that's something to consider. Then there are the supplemental portions of the application. And these I would consider are things that the student is not in charge of completing or does not have any control over completing. So this could be things like your test scores from ACT or SAT. your AP scores. That's something where some students will be able to self-report, but if they're not going to take those self-reported scores and it is not a test optional school, then students need to make sure that they have requested those scores be sent. Um, Another portion of that might be letters of recommendation, whether that be from a student's high school counselor. There are definitely counselor recommendations, or maybe that is going to be from a specific teacher. And I'll go into some more detail in an upcoming live just about what to do for letters of recommendation. Um, and then making sure that there are any other supplemental pieces that need to be sent with transcripts. So that's something that your school is likely going to have a transcript request process. And one of the things that I would certainly encourage you to do is to find out what the deadlines are for transcripts and letters of recommendation, as well as taking a look and making sure that what are the dates and deadlines, and requesting that those documents and that information at least 2 weeks in advance, so that the people who are doing the recommending can write the best possible letter and can make sure that those transcripts are there on time. Now, a lot of the time, the supplemental deadline is going to be a little bit later than what your student deadline is. And so it's important that you double check that on the website as you are looking at the information for those deadlines so that you don't miss anything. So the third thing that I want to talk about is going to be, sometimes there are some special circumstances, like if you are a student who is going into a performing arts field, there might be an audition piece or a portfolio piece that you need to submit. So visual arts or performing arts. I've talked about before, I was a vocal music major and ended up that at several schools, I ended up that I went in and I auditioned and then was accepted into, either accepted or not accepted into certain programs based on how that audition went. And so that's definitely something, theater majors, you can expect to be to do a reading from, typically I would say that it's going to be a drama and then either a comedy or something else, but you would be able to pick what you want to read. Maybe it's going to be an audition tape. It might not be something where they have you come in, and especially if you live a long ways away, they might have you that you can do either a Zoom or you can send a recorded video of yourself. If you're in band, it might be maybe you had a solo in something, and so you're sending that chorus. So there can be a lot of different pieces. The other thing is that some colleges are going to require that students have an interview. Now, again, this is not something that's a guarantee. Some schools will have interviews, but they might not be able to interview every single person. And so some of what happens and what we want students to know is if you don't get asked to have an interview, that doesn't necessarily or automatically mean that it's going to be a denial. So sometimes there are not enough interviewers. Sometimes it's an alumni interview and there are not enough interviewers to meet with every single person. But if you do have an interview, you want to make sure that you really are putting your best foot forward, that you are professional, that you've thought through potential questions and all of those different pieces. So those are some of the different pieces of that college application. One of the things that can also happen is sending in a mid-year transcript after the first semester is done. And also sending in, if a student is deferred or waitlisted, it might be that you are asked to send in a letter of continued interest or for any kind of updates to your application file. So if this is something that you would like to dive in and go a little bit deeper on that, please send me a message and we can set up a time to talk and just kind of go over whatever your questions are and make sure that you feel confident and comfortable with what you are doing and what your student is doing. Send me a message. You can send me an email, admin@confusedtoready.com. I would absolutely love to chat with you a little bit more about your student and their specific experience. And I hope this has been helpful. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.